Hello, this is Laura George, and I'm a designer with Marybridge Children's Hospital Festival of Trees. Today we're going to go through a walkthrough of Designer Day. Designer Day. It is fun, but it is also overwhelming at times, and the tips that I'm going to go over with you are meant to hopefully make that day just a little bit easier. Now, start with your tree layout in your map. Everybody should know where they're at, what number your tree is, and everything prior to Designer Day. This year, we have 3 rows of 5 trees on each side. So 5 trees on the left, 5 trees on the right. These are all 10 by 10 spaces. And in the middle, we have 10 by 15 rows. These are not lined up. They're all kind of staggered, and these trees are viewable from all angles. Unlike previous years where we've had multiple trees back to back, this year there is nothing blocking the view. So you're going to want to take that into consideration when preparing your layout and your approach on Designer Day. Now, as we go into Designer Day, I like to remind my crew, everybody needs to be signed in. And if they haven't completed their volunteer form online, to please do so at registration that morning. I also recommend that nobody starts working on that tree until the lead designer is there and the circuit breaker is picked up. So what can they do if they're there early? They can go get drinks, they can get food, they can get settled in for the day, make sure that they have all their personal items stuck away, and look around if they want. But nobody's to get started before the lead designer is ready to roll. So, where to start? Step 1 in my plan typically is thinking about the plastic bag that's going to go underneath the tree. Now, if I'm having the tree lifted, I may put that plastic bag on my stand. If I'm just lifting the tree off the floor a foot or so, or I'm not lifting at all, I'm going to go ahead and put the bag under the tree as soon as possible. So in this instance, we had a barrel that we were using as a tree stand. We put the bag over top of it, and then we put the tree up there after we decorated, got the topper on and the top part of the tree decorated. And the reason we've got this bag, and everybody wonders when they're first new at this, why exactly are we putting a bag under it? Well, guess what? On Sunday, we are wrapping that puppy up, and that bag is going to be used and brought up the tree, and everything's going to be tightly wrapped, and you're just going to want to make sure that that bag is positioned correctly and easy to work with. So make sure when you do this that your tree is lifted, that the bag is under there securely, and it's not wadded up underneath. The very first item you're going to do after you get your bag set is run extension cords and lights. So I usually use between 2100 and 2600 lights for a 7-foot tree, which means I need quite a few extension cords. So for a 4-foot tree, I may only be running 2 extension cords up the tree. For a 7-foot, I'm going to run 3 to 4 extension cords up. I usually start with 3, and I normally take 1 and put it near the top as far as the outlet goes and stagger those down. You can always add an additional extension cord at the bottom of your tree, but it's really difficult to run an extension cord up into the tree once you have lights going on. These are zip tied to the tree trunk or just wire tied to a branch right close to the tree trunk. Then also, I may want to run lights up the trunk to create depth and provide light from within the tree. So sometimes these trees are very dense, and I will run a couple 100 strand lights either around the trunk or down the sides of the trunk just to create a little bit of depth and provide some light from within the tree. Everybody takes a different approach with how they're going to use lights for the majority of their tree. Some people use single strands. Some people use icicle lights, which we do. We wrap those around and then we pull the tendrils out the branches to create more depth. And then there's also net lights. I've seen that done and I was really skeptical of it, but I've seen designers use them and the trees look great. So it's really up to you to determine what works best for you, but you do want to make sure that whatever method you use, you have full coverage, it's well lit, and they're secured. Now, you're the top, that tree topper. I covered this some in our prep, that you're going to want to have a base for your tree topper that can be put on your tree and taken off your tree easily. You're going to want to have it either partially or fully constructed before you get there. And you're going to want to figure out when you're there, evaluate the top of that tree. Can you put that tree topper on? Do you need to cut some branches back? How are you going to attach it? Those are all things to think about prior to, and you may want to play with it with an artificial tree at home, but these are going to be real trees and they're all going to be different. So just be prepared to kind of work with that and make whatever approach you take work the day of. Now, if I am doing a 7-foot tree or a 4-foot tree where I'm actually lifting it feet off the ground, this may be when I lift my tree. Is I'm going to get that topper on and I may get some initial ornaments done right below the topper and then have the master builders lift my tree. So in this instance, this was our Tiny Bubbles tree a few years back. We used a wine barrel as the base, and right before lunch, we had gotten a lot of the top of our tree ornaments on, and we asked the master builders to go ahead and lift this up for us. That allowed us to, while working on the top of the tree, we were working at waist level, and once they lifted it, we were working kind of right at shoulder level, and it meant that we weren't stooping down or lifting up, because anybody that's done this knows it can get really tiring. So then we've got lunch somewhere in the day. I do like to have my topper done at least, if not ornaments done, prior to lunch. And I insist that my whole team take lunch, whether they eat or not. I really do want people to eat, but if they don't eat, then at least regroup, walk around, take a break, drink something, get some water, get hydrated, and then return to the tree with a brand new set of eyes. Sometimes it's really easy as you're working on the tree to start to feel like you're never going to finish it. It's ugly. This isn't what you wanted. It's just really easy to get in your own head when you're doing nothing but staying and staring at that same tree and trying to figure things out. So take a break, walk around and come back. It'll really let you start fresh. After lunch, it is time to dig in and get those ornaments going. So, as I stated in my first video on pre-planning, I like to put any of the ornaments on that are my major theme ornaments on first. So when we did I'll Be Home for Christmas, there was a Santa, there were ice skates, there were little owls. We got all those on first. That was in my first box. And then any of the unique ornaments that were like bells or pine cones, those went on second. And then all the filler went on. So we went through our boxes and we got everything done and got it filled out the way that we wanted. And then once we were done with the tree, that seems like you're really close, but those gift items, the layout, the vignettes, if you haven't pre-planned, this can be just a black hole that you wonder where all your time is gone. So pre-plan, kind of have an idea of what you're grouping together before you get to designer day. But when you're at designer day and you're putting everything up, think about your cords. Make sure that they're not visible to the public. Add any kind of floor lighting that you need and then just zhuzh it all up. Be careful of the wishful makeuping. Try not to move things and tweak things by an inch or two. Get it done. Call it good. If you're not completely happy, walk around, look around at everybody else's trees, and then come back and call it done. So last reminder for Designer Day. Remember to breathe, remember to eat, stay hydrated, have fun, and get it done. Thank you all for taking this time and listening to me ramble on about what I do on Designer Day. I hope each and every one of you has a successful Designer Day and go out there and make it great. Thank you.